here with Antoine Walker on a Wednesday morning. Twan, we're talking some Bucks Celtics game 2. The team you picked to win the East playing the team you played for in the East. Game 1 was all Bucks. Game 2, a whole different story. Tatum and Brown. Boy, they struggled in Game 1, came back strong in Game 2, combined for 59 points last night. Boston wins easily, 109-86. Broussard, I'll start with you. What did the Celtics prove last night?
Jenna, what they proved and are proving in these first 2 games is that they have something that none of us on this show, even me, who predicted that the Celtics would win in 7, none of us thought existed. And that is an answer for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Twan, the Celtics are proving that they have the kryptonite for the best player in the world. They've held Giannis. I know he's getting points, but he's not doing it efficiently. That's for darn sure, and that's something we never see from Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're holding him to 38% shooting, okay? Look at this. The last time he was held that low was his first ever playoff series, and that was before Giannis was Giannis. He was a second-year player. He averaged 12 points a game that season. Since he's become this superstar, no one has been able to hold Giannis in check like this. Antoine, they did it last night without the Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. Let me drive it home a little more. Last year, throughout the entire playoffs, Giannis shot 57%. In the finals, against a good defensive team in Phoenix, he shot 61%. In his last 26 playoff games before this series, he had been held to 40% or less shooting one time. The Celtics have done it twice in 2 games, Twan. If this continues, and this is why, look, I didn't think they'd hold him this low. I thought he would get his and the other people would struggle. But I did think the loss of Chris Middleton would be big in this series, and that's what tipped me over to the Boston side. And if Giannis is going to shoot 45%, I think there'll even be an uptick. I don't know that that's enough without Chris Middleton to win this series. And so, Twan, Nick offered me some disingenuous, condescending olive branches. I'm not like that, all right? I'm sincere, Twan. I remembered. I was a young NBA reporter when you were starring with the Boston Celtics. 20 points and 9 boards a game for 8 seasons, shooting the 3 with abandon before it was sexy. You were doing all that, all right, in Boston. So, Twan, I am offering you an olive branch sincerely. Oh. Come on over to my side with your team, the Boston Celtics. Do it now, my man. I'm not offering it again. This is my offer. I'm not going to be like Nick and offer it every day. This is it.
Chris, I appreciate the kind and warm words that you gave me about my basketball ability in my career. But you're wrong about Giannis. Completely wrong about Giannis.
Boom.
This guy, he basically just showed you why he's the best player in the world. And last night spoke volumes to me and how he rebounded the second half of this game. Got out to a horrible start, but the way he continued to compete the second half and put up a positive second half, I thought spoke volumes to his teammates, to everybody on how hard he's going to play. And think about it. This guy's going to figure it out. Maybe 2 years ago, Chris, I would agree with you. But now, not this new Giannis, not the MVP of the finals Giannis, not this guy that's chasing his second NBA title. He's too good offensively. He doesn't have to be efficient scoring the basketball to dominate the game. He showed you that in game 1. His passing ability, rebounding ability, defensive ability can take over any game at any moment. I think he's going to figure it out. I think he did last night in the second half, especially with Grant Williams and the way Grant Williams was guarding him. I thought that elbow to the mouth set the tone on how he needs to attack Grant Williams, be physical with him. You saw the next move after that. He makes a great move on the baselines and score. The one thing about Giannis over KD, Giannis is going to attack the basket and Giannis is going to post up. We know he's not a great jump shooter. He's not relying on that completely. His only Achilles heel is he's got to be a little bit more consistent for me from the free throw line. I need to be at the 70, 75% because he has to attack the basket against these guys. But Giannis can beat you in too many different ways, Chris. It's not all based off him getting 35 and 40 points. He can have a triple-double, and they can win this series. So I think that's not going to be the case. He's going to need a triple-double every night, but he has that type of capabilities.
And it does speak to the level of greatness he's gotten to, that through 2 games he's averaging 26, 11, and 10, and it feels like he hasn't played that well. Now, Brew's right. The reason it feels like he hasn't played that well is he's turned the ball over, and his efficiency is the lowest we have seen in years. 38% from the field is bad. There's no denying that, and Boston is doing that to him. And credit to Grant Williams for playing above his weight, so to speak. Credit to Al Horford for going in the way back machine. Al Horford, signs of life and rejuvenation, the likes of which we haven't seen in a few years. But we sometimes, the order of operations skews us here. Boston's responsibility was to win both of these games. Milwaukee's responsibility was to win one of them. Milwaukee fulfilled their responsibility. Milwaukee is going to go home with an odd layoff. No basketball games Thursday. This series doesn't resume again until Saturday. Milwaukee right now, by the way, America, -3. I would hammer that before that moves. My guess is that tips. And Milwaukee -5. I think the public will be on the Bucks, especially right now. So if you're going to bet it now. But the other thing, Wilds, that happened in this game is it was the second biggest three-point discrepancy in NBA playoff history. 20-3. The only game with a discrepancy this big is a game we all know by a moniker, the Klay Thompson game. Game 6 of the 2016 Western Conference Finals. That's an aberrant event. Now, Boston hitting 15-plus threes is not shocking. Milwaukee gives you that. Milwaukee making 3 3-pointers, that's not going to happen again in this series. Giannis isn't going to have another 2 for 12 or whatever he was in the first half again in this series. As someone who picked the Bucks to win the title, I feel as confident as ever despite what happened last night.
Jeez, okay. All right. I don't feel that confident. I'm still feeling a little – my confidence came back towards the Celtics, and it's for a lot of the reasons that Broussard outlined. So, one, Antoine, when the Celtics are moving Giannis off their spot, we can look at this shot chart. It seems to be effective. Right underneath the hoop, a lot of green. Outside of it, a lot of red. So we look at what he's shooting 43%. In the paint, not great. And we talked about how good of a job Grant Williams had. We have some plays here. And you mentioned something very interesting as we run these plays. You said that the elbow to the mouth set the tone in the second half. I said, that's really interesting. Because Jaylen Brown said they got punched in the mouth metaphorically in the first game. But are you saying that rather than Giannis I thought he was kind of aggressive, but he wasn't overly aggressive, and this next play sort of runs into a wall. Do you think that Giannis needs to basically throw more elbows and be more aggressive and kind of get Grant Williams off of him? Is that going to be the answer to the kryptonite that Broussard is proposing?
No, I don't think he has to be more physical. I love where he's at right now, being physical. I thought he's attacking the basket where he definitely needs to be more efficient. But I think you have to figure out defenders. You got to realize Grant Williams is 2 inches, 3 inches shorter than him. He can take his time and shoot a regular jump hook. He don't have to necessarily be over. He can turn around and shoot over him. So he'll figure those things out as he looks at film. The reason why this series is going to go to the Bucks is Celtics have to win on the three-point line. I don't think they're going to be capable of making 60 more threes throughout this series to win this series. This is going to be too difficult. The Milwaukee Bucks have multiple different ways they can score on you. They'll make more than 3 threes a game. And I don't know where Boston Celtics scoring is going to come from. They cannot attack the basket. Milwaukee was dominant in the paint by 30 points. They're not getting out in the break. The Bucks are not going to give them anything out in the break. I just don't see how Boston's going to muster up enough offense to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. And don't get me wrong, you guys know I love to shoot the three. I think it's a great weapon. But 93 threes in 2 games, I don't know if you're going to be able to beat the Milwaukee Bucks.
And Brew, I got a question for you, because to Antoine's point about the threes, Tatum, Brown, Grant, and Pritchard were 19 of 33 from three. That obviously is not sustainable. So, Brew, yesterday you can say you said it with bass and with your chest, but you didn't. Yesterday you were like, it's a shame. We might not know what was going to happen because Jalen's dinged up and Marcus Smart might not play. There was a little bit of, dare I say, trepidation. You now have made your best compelling case, and you couldn't even sway Celtics great Antoine Walker. So, because I am a kind, gregarious, charitable coworker, for the third straight day, I'm going to offer you an off-ramp. Come on over. Be on the Bucks side of things. Go with the best player in the world. Go head over heart, facts over feelings. Brew, would you like to change your pick?
Nick, all right. First of all, no. All right. Secondly, what I did yesterday, what you consider trepidation was just respect for the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending world champions, and Giannis, who I love, my MVP vote. You know that. All right. So that was respect. And then Mark